Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers, and I'm currently just sitting here with my chicks, just chilling a second. So if you follow us on Facebook, I told you last night we had a bit of a rough evening. It's actually something that keeps coming up over and over, but I told you I'd have a YouTube explanation this morning. If you don't follow us on Facebook or you're new here, I'd like to just take a second to introduce myself first. My name is Bethany. My husband, Brandon, and our 4 children run the Farmer's Garden in East Texas. We are a small farm that provides truly local produce. We like to clarify that because local produce is usually anything that's grown in your state, so people can claim it's local and it's from hundreds of miles away. Ours is actually local to where we sell it. We have fresh eggs, and I make a ton of award-winning homemade jams and jellies. So that's what we sell at our farm. Before we had the Farmer's Garden turns 5 this year. We're super excited about that. But before that, we sold vegetables in the panhandle of Texas under the name Double R Farms. And so we've been doing this for 10 years now. And something that we have kind of battled against the whole time we've been doing this, and it's just not socially acceptable to say anything about it. The customer is always right, and so you don't normally say anything about this. This video is mostly to our people. We have a very little following on YouTube. We have a pretty small following on Facebook. In the grand scheme of things, there's about 3,000 of you on Facebook. That's a pretty tiny chunk of the World Wide Web. And this video is for our people. So if you're new, there's your introduction. This might not make sense to you, or it might make you kind of mad. But this is something that I need our people to understand. When you come up to our table at market and we seem flustered or irritated, we've probably just dealt with this. If we post something on Facebook and you're like, well, why do they even have to say that? This is why. Yeah, so that's just kind of the introduction, the background on this. Brandon was actually talking to another farmer the other day, a local guy, and the guy said he was interviewed by the news one time, and they asked him, what is the hardest part about farming? And Brandon just answered for him, and he goes, the people. And the guy was like, well, I can't say that, though. I can't say that on the news. And it's true, you can't say that on the news. And the people sounds horrible, like I just said that we need y'all and we sell to y'all. And then I'm going to say y'all are the worst part. Our people are not the worst part. People on the internet, y'all. I'm going to try not to get mad. I get super fired up about this because for 10 years we've been fighting it, and we see it all over Facebook and we see it on the internet, and it's crazy and it's out of hand. People on the internet with their Google degrees, and they saw a meme once that clearly says that they know how to farm better than us, and their granny used to have chickens or whatever. People on the internet who do not understand farming, who come to farmers and tell them what they're doing wrong. Listen, if you're wearing clothes right now, especially if you're wearing cotton clothes, if you're wearing clothes, if you have a house, if you have food on your table of any kind, vegan, meat, eggs, I don't care what it is. If you have food on your table of any kind, you need to go thank a farmer. You just do. Because farmers provide those things for you. And for you being the general public, not our family of people, but you being the general public, for you to go on to the internet and try to tell those people how what they're doing is wrong. Oh, you're abusing those cows. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, those pigs should be outside. Like all these things that you don't know the situation. Cows should be on grass. Meanwhile, it's -13 and blowing 45 miles an hour in a blizzard, and these cows are in a barn and they're warm and safe, and then people are yelling because they're not outside. You don't know the situation. So for us, because we're small, so we don't have just a ton of people, what we usually get is when we try to promote our page. So say I make a post. Last night was a post about eggs, and I said our price, and this is our meetup place, and we're just kind of matter of fact about it. And when I make those posts and then I share them, we are almost always guaranteed to find somebody who knows economics better than us. We know our prices, y'all. We know how much feed it takes. We haven't done books for January. yet, but most of the time when we do our books, we can tell you how much feed goes into each dozen of eggs. And so when our books are updated for January and February, we'll know, are we still doing it right? And if you've been around a while, you know, occasionally the prices go up and later they get to come back down. And I'm hoping they can come back down this summer. I'm hoping we have enough eggs to make our margins what they need to be to bring our prices back down. I would love to be able to do that for y'all. But we know our numbers, and there's always going to be somebody, if it costs that much to make a dozen eggs, you're doing it wrong. Meanwhile, it's a person that doesn't have chickens, or who hasn't had chickens in 45 years and doesn't understand what it costs. I mean, from everything. You sell potatoes for how much? We used to get those for 15 cents a pound. Like everything. We're competing against prices that Granny paid 75 years ago. Like we're competing against that, and people on the internet, it's not usually people at our markets, it's normally people on the internet who have an opinion. And let's be really honest right now, most of those people's opinions don't matter. They don't. And we know that. In our heads, we know these opinions don't matter, that they don't count. This doesn't get to dictate what I do with my business. But farming is a calling. Nobody does this for fun for very long. It's not fun sometimes. Sometimes it's just a freaking lot of work, and nobody wants to be doing it, and we don't want to be out here and it's hot and it's dry, or it's wet and it's cold, or it's not always fun. For anybody to really dedicate and commit to doing this, it's a calling. It's a whole life. And so when somebody says you're doing it wrong, you're charging too much, that's not worth that, it feels very personal. It feels like those people are saying you are not worth that, you are not whatever. And I know that that's something that we personally have to deal with. Other people are not in charge of our feelings. That's obviously true. But you can see where it gets really hard to hear this stuff over and over and over and over and over for 10 years. And like I say, it's not new to us. We see it on dairy pages. We see it on pig farm pages. We see it. It's all over. People just think they know better because they read a book once, or they saw a meme, or the little golden book, A Day in the Life of a Farm, doesn't look like this. You're doing it wrong. Charlotte's Web didn't look like this. Whatever it is. And we're always happy to help you learn. We want to help you learn. We had somebody recently that told us they couldn't buy fresh eggs because fresh eggs were not as safe as grocery store eggs. Fresh eggs are only good for 2 days, is what she said. And she didn't say it in a mean way. She wasn't trying to be anything. She was just genuinely scared to buy our eggs. She had committed to buying them, and then she just backed out. She was genuinely afraid to buy them. And she wasn't trying to be rude or anything. But it's people on the internet. It's the things that they've learned from bad sources that people are having so much. They don't want to unlearn it. It's like this one source said it, so it's got to be true. And they don't look at who said it where, or why they said it, or what was the motivation for saying it. Is this a organic farmer that's telling you if you're not buying my stuff, you're dying of cancer? Like, there are so many people on the internet who push bad information. And then we get those Google degrees and those things that come in and try to tell us that we're doing it wrong based on something else that they've seen. And what else they saw was not good information. So when you come to our market, and we don't have this problem at our market most of the time. Most of the time when people show up at a market, they've already made the decision that they're looking for something different from what's in the store. But if you get to our table and we seem grumpy, we probably just had somebody tell us that Walmart is cheaper than us. And I'm going to be really honest, Walmart is still open. If cheap is your main priority, then we're probably not for you, because we cannot compete with Walmart prices, and we're not going to try to. We probably just had somebody, pick up a jar of jam. Oh, I used to just give it away. I'm glad you did that. I don't just give it away. I make it and I sell it. And I don't want any of this to sound like we're just being greedy and like give us more money, but I just need you to understand I need our people to understand that the general public does not have the same opinion of farmers that many of our people have. And we fight against that, and it's exhausting. So if you see that kind of rubbish on the internet, please Be a nice person to the farmers in your life and just say, listen, there's better information out there. You've got your facts wrong. Just in general, don't let people bash on small business prices. Small business prices are what they are, and that's not anybody else's business, and you don't need to be in there, well, I could buy cookies at Walmart for less than that. Walmart is open. Don't be on there, well, I could buy a painting on Amazon for less than that. Amazon is open. Like, don't bash small business prices based on what you've seen somewhere else. That's not how any of this works. Support your farmers. Like their stuff. Share their stuff online. Buy it when you can. I know grocery prices. I know you can't always buy our $6 eggs. Sometimes you're going to buy $2 eggs, and we're okay with that. But support us when you can. Tell your friends about us. Share our markets. There are so many things that you can do that will encourage us past these internet people that we just fight with so much. Anyways, that's kind of long. That seems random to some of you, but I needed our people to understand where we're coming with from some of this. Thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. Maybe my next YouTube will be a little more exciting. If you're new here, I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll go back through and watch some of my other videos. They're not normally so frustrating. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all be sure and come back when you can stay longer.